Long ago, five men set out from their own paths to achieve their own destinies. Now they are brothers, united under one cause. Alone they are strong, together they are unbreakable. They are bonded by metal.
And welcome back to Bonded by Metal. And we are here and joined by Pope Metallicus I and Imperitus. I am your lead provider, Mr. Toxic Nick, aka Nick Weiser. And we're going to be doing the easiest ranking of any albums we're going to be doing in the history of ever. Because to me, you never need to rank when it's one or two, just do a review. But when you have three albums, I think that's the definitive number where you could start doing rankings. And this may be a video where we all have the same rankings. Maybe I'm wrong and we have a slight variation, but I don't think there's going to be anything where it's going to be completely different apart. But it'll still be fun to do anyways. And of course, you're thinking, who are they talking about? Well, we're going to be talking about the absolutely superb, one of the best thrash metal bands on the planet. This is a band that after the Slayers are coming around, then you have the Creators coming around, the Destructions, then you had the Dark Angels coming around, the Morbid Saints coming around, and then along come from New York, Demolition Hammer. And this band was on a whole other level. I was kind of teetering a little bit on death metal with its intensity. The speed was still around the same of the thrash metal, but these guys hail from the Bronx. They're together the late 80s to the mid 90s. They had a very short stay and they broke up because life was just not good being in a band, despite having three albums, two of them doing very well. And however, the shows weren't. But they got back together 11 years ago, and they've been doing some shows here and there since then, a handful of shows a year. And I don't know if we'll get an album. They did do a new song last year in Milwaukee Metal Fest. I don't know if it's for a full length or an EP. I liked what I heard, but that kind of just gives you a little idea of what's going on with this band and their place in thrash metal lore. So, gentlemen, guys, let's talk about the very first Demolition Hammer album. And yes, once again, for those wondering at home, we're not talking about demos, we're not talking about EP, we're talking full-length studio albums. Pope Metallicus the first. Out of 3, 2, and 1, where does Tortured Existence rank for you, sir?
I think this is my number one.
Is your number one album? Okay. So your favorite one. Okay.
They're close between 1 and 2, and obviously we all know which one 3 is. I would just like to point out that I'm streaming with the two men who lovingly and gently bullied me into listening to this band.
Rightfully so.
And I
regret nothing. We didn't bully you hard enough, if anything.
No, and I can't thank you guys enough because these guys are fucking amazing.
Mm-hmm. So what about Tortured Existence like really sticks out to you? Like songs, production? What is it about that album that really resonates with you?
A lot of it is just the speed and aggression they're playing. Obviously, like standout tracks. We have to go with the classic 44 caliber Brain Surgery.
So good.
And there's a couple other ones that are just phenomenal, but like the whole album is just pure speed and aggression, and I love it to death.
Okay. Awesome. Imperitus, sir, where are you ranking Tortured Existence?
I'm actually putting it at my number 2.
Number 2. Okay. So what about Tortured Existence do you love? Why is it number 2? Like what is it that it makes it a notch above one album but beneath the other? And what stands out to you about this album?
It's more than a notch above that third album. That's for
damn sure. But we're talking numerically speaking.
I went back to listen to these albums, and I got to the third album. I barely got through a track. I was like, "Oh, right, yeah, that's why I barely know anything about this album. It's garbage."
Yeah.
They leaned a little too hard into the hardcore stylings that they also kind of weave into at least the first album, anyways.
Yeah.
But bring it back to Tortured Existence. What of this album? What is the highlight for you? Is that a song? Is that the guitars? What is it that really
style
makes
that
you
they
feel?
incorporate? I was like that hybrid between thrash and death metal.
Never
really leaning too far either way. It's as Pope was saying, it's nothing but aggression, and it has, as you said, it's got that full-on death metal aggression but still keeping the more of the thrash style and production. Like the riffs, while the riffs are very chunky, the production really wasn't.
Yeah, I would agree with that. The production is not as good as the second album. I would say that, but I just like this album just a little bit better. They're right neck and neck.
Yeah.
Mhm,
And
mhm.
like as Pope mentioned, standout tracks for me would be Gelid Remains
Oh yeah.
and
Mm.
Infectious Hospital Waste.
Okay, okay, awesome. So we got a 1 and a 2, and I get to be the tiebreaker on Tortured Existence. So I'm gonna put this album for me at number 2. So obviously, 44 caliber brain surgery, absolutely badass song. But I have definitely a special place in my heart for this song that really sticks out for me with Infectious Hospital Waste. I love that song.
Such a good track.
Crippling Velocity. There's just some absolute scorchers on this album. And it's such a strong debut for a band, coming out and putting out this album that I think they're on Century Media at the
Yeah,
time.
they are. They were
And they
actually.
recorded this one. What I love about this one, if there's one thing I love about this one, and that's even more than Epidemic, I love the bass tone on this album. This bass
Yeah,
tone, it reminds me of when I first heard Autopsy's Severed Survival for the first time live. It just really sticks out. It's so in your face. And of course, recorded at More Sound Studios with producer Scott Burns is definitely not a bad thing either. I mean, More Sound was the studio where a lot of the death metal bands were coming from to record their albums. Cannibal was doing all their albums there. Obituary, Malevolent Creation, Morbid Angel. You had bands coming from out of the country for as well. It was the place to go to. Having producer Scott Burns there, that was the thing. I'm sure Imperitus, you can vouch. Many albums you're going through the liner notes all had more sound recording, Tampa,
Hmm.
Florida. Scott Burns listed as the producer.
Yep.
It was the place to go.
Yeah, one of them. Yeah, at the time.
hmm So it was just that was the place. So I actually really love Scott Burns' production. Some might argue it's kind of like Andy Sneap, where it's mostly the same. I would slightly disagree because I feel like there are albums where the bass stands up more than others. Like for another more sound album, Cannibal Corpse's "The Bleeding," that bass
Yeah,
tone really sticks
that
out.
bass tone was very prominent.
Oh God, was ever. It was like the vegan going out of the way to tell you that he's vegan. You didn't have to find it; it found you.
Yeah.
So
right.
to me, these albums have strong bass tone. My only, I guess you could say, biggest crime towards it, which is weird to say, but even though it's such a strong album, is just there's just other stuff I just happen to enjoy a little bit more. So okay, well let's move on to another album. And because I like to try to end things as much as I can with a positive note, we're going to go on a slight detour and come back around. We're going to talk about Time Bomb, guys. The
Oh,
ever so exciting album, the third album, which was at the time their swan song. And oh boy, man. And it's one of those signs where the writing was on the wall when you see that the artwork is completely different. The Demolition Hammer logo that you recognize, no love is not there. And somehow Century Media, who's even to still this day, pretty respectable metal label, put this out. It kind of was like a weird, like, really, guys, you're doing this?
Well, that was also
Really?
at the time when Century Media started putting out a lot of stuff that was questionable.
Eh,
yeah.
okay, okay, so we go with that. Okay, that's a fair enough point. Okay, well then you know what? Since you're already speaking Imperitus, we already know your rank at number 3, but
Yeah,
tell
oh,
us
100%.
what you may even slightly like and everything
There's
else you hate
nothing I
about
like.
this album.
There's nothing I like about this album. It's very rare you'll hear me say that. It's such a departure from what they did before.
Mhm,
And I think it was because they were falling into the trap that a lot of bands in the 90s did. That, oh, metal isn't popular anymore. Thrash isn't popular. Death metal's on its way out. You got
mhm,
to kind of lean more towards, for lack of a better term, more groove stuff like Pantera or New York City hardcore or what have you. And it's no, just stick to your guns, do what you do that you do well,
mhm, mhm,
and refine that. There was no
mhm,
need. Is it true that metal was in a bad state in the early mid '90s?
mhm.
Yeah. And all three of us know that full well.
I mean, let's face it. In the '90s, metal was on life support.
Yeah.
It was and it wasn't.
It
because
wasn't.
that's
It
where-
wasn't. But it was. Death metal never needed the mainstream. The underground
No.
thrash never needed it. You
But
could
in terms of, like,
obviously you had
mainstream
bands like
popularity,
the groove metal stuff that are coming around, like the Pantera, Machine Head, and even though Fear Factory I would say became one later on, even though they kind of started off more death metal-y with the
they
cyber
started
stuff.
off as way more death metal than
Yeah, and then they
evolved
kind
into.
of shifted towards groove metal fast. So those bands were, I guess you could say, they were holding the mainstream side afloat. But carry on, Imperitus, about
It was just
Timebomb, because
disappointing.
this
I
album
remember.
lives up to the title.
Yeah, no kidding. I remember a buddy of mine was like, "Oh, hey, I'm going out to Rock Fantasy, which is the one music shop by me that I frequented a lot back in the day." He's like, and I was like, "Oh yeah, I'll go for the ride. Screw it." Went with him, and he's like, "Oh shit, new Demolition Hammer albums." Like, "Oh wow, really? Okay, cool. Something to listen to on the way home." You know, we grabbed a few other albums, popped that in, and we both kind of looked at each other at a stoplight, like, "What the fuck is this?" No, it's not quite. That was like my reaction the other night. I heard one of the new Exodus tracks to kind of tie into your review there,
oh
and
no,
the one track I heard, and I said this out loud. I was like, "This isn't fucking Exodus. What the fuck is this?"
yeah, the new Exodus record is fucking bad.
I mean, are they trying to catch radio play somewhere or something? I was like, "What the?"
That stuff ain't gonna get played on the radio anytime soon. But however,
no,
radio
but-
play or not, it's just there are moments of hope, which is weird. Because I would say that Exodus album is better than this album, but keeping it on point, that album at least has moments of hope and a song or two of that. Whereas this Demolition Hammer album
no, this
has
album
no hope
was-
whatsoever.
No, there is nothing redeeming about this album.
No, and hopefully everything that, like you saying you heard like a new track and you enjoyed it.
Mm-hmm.
That
They
says
played
a
at
lot.
Milwaukee Metal Fest. It was their first time playing it live ever.
That sounds like, well, hopefully they're getting back into what they do.
Yeah, it sounded just like that. That's for sure. So obviously you're number 3. Hope,
Mhm.
you're going to be at number 3. But what can you add to this conversation that maybe hasn't already been said about the very appropriately named Timebomb?
I mean, it basically covered my opinion on this record of, like, there's really nothing redeeming about it. It's not Demolition Hammer in what they sound like. They went in a completely different direction, and not in a good way.
No.
Just like a lot of thrash bands in the '90s. Looking at you, Metallica.
Yeah, well,
I ain't the only one. Most of them were complicit too. I mean, that's an inconvenient example, but yeah, I get your point though.
So I just like shitting on Lars Ulrich every chance I can get.
So if you're OJ Simpson and you got Norm Macdonald shitting on you every chance he can get, that's what we're going for. We're going for
pretty
the
much.
OJ Norm.
I mean,
okay.
I don't even know if I learned enough of the track names, because I listened to this album exactly once and then it was just like, yeah, no, I'm good. I'm just never gonna listen to this again.
Okay.
I hate saying that because everything else by this band is fantastic.
Hey, we all make mistakes, even the best of us. You know,
Yeah,
ain't that the
true.
truth?
Oh hell, it is the truth, for better and worse. All right. Well,
none. Even
this is one of those happy little accidents, as Bob Ross would put it.
I mean, with all the bands that I genuinely, absolutely adore and love as musicians or what have you, every single band has put out a stinker at some point.
Most of them, yeah. Motorhead's one of the only ones that never really did.
Motorhead and Overkill. I'd say they put out albums that are okay, but they never put out a bad album. But obviously, those
I disagree on the Overkill thing. There was one that I thought was pretty pathetic.
Ooh, we'll have to have a discussion on that someday. Okay.
I forgot what the hell the album was called.
Do you got anything else you want to add to a Timebomb, Pope?
No, just if you are a fan of Demolition Hammer or are looking to get into the band, just don't listen to this one first.
Yeah, I
agree
with them.
Or at all. I mean, that really says it right there. Just ignore the fact that this exists. There are only 2 Demolition Hammer albums.
So echoing what Pope and Imperitus have said, this is gonna be our unification agreement. We are in unifying agreement that Time Bomb is all at our number 3 of this list. I guess you could say the nicest thing about it is the production's fine. Obviously, you could tell that some extra time was put in, and yet Steve Evans on producing, and he's obviously more of a big time name. So I guess you could say the album sounds okay. It sounds like a band. So
I
when that's
will give it that credit. It was
yeah,
well produced.
yeah,
It's
it was well
still
produced.
trash, but it's well produced trash.
Yeah, Steve Evans definitely made the band sound good in that regard. So okay, hey, there's something that counts for something. So thank you, Steve, to the band. I forgive you guys. We can't all be perfect. I think it's safe to say though, you guys have way beyond moved on from that mistake and not made it since. And I hope that when the 4th album comes out, which will most definitely be reviewed on his channel, we'll be talking about a much better album. Now, I'm not expecting it to be a masterpiece like the first album or two. Now, if it is, hey, great. But if it can at least be a nice, solid album, that would be wonderful. That would be wonderful.
The bar
but
is low.
I see. I'm
Considering
not
this was
looking at it
a
from the bar is low because that to me is like settling, and I refuse to settle.
well, no,
So,
I'm just saying the
Correct.
bar is low only because of how bad the last actual release was.
oh,
It's not going to take much to be better than Time
no,
Bomb.
and that's already kind of a given. So I'm not even like putting that into. I guess you'd say my side of the conversation. I'm looking as, hey, Corner put out something great. Testament
Yeah.
put out something great. I enjoyed the new Megadeth. Can you join these bands and put out something that's
Something that's at least
name?
it's at least like a 6 or 7.
Don't be a creator or an Exodus. And yes, I'll even say that the new creator is even worse than the new Exodus.
I listened to the new Creator album and
Just
I'm
don't.
disappointed.
Just don't. Yeah, it's a son. Just don't. So, anyways, let's bring it to full circle. This album, it's called Epidemic of Violence. Have you heard of it, Metallicus?
I have, and it actually features my favorite Demolition Hammer track, being Pyroclastic Annihilation.
Okay, and
My
we're
man.
and assumingly you're gonna rank this album at number 2. So, what is it about Epidemic of Violence that kind of makes you hard?
I mean, you still have that speed and aggression from the first record, a little bit better quality on the production, and some of the fucking riffs they have on this album are just fucking evil. I love them. Like I said, Pyroclastic Annihilation. Just that. It's almost like 200 beats per minute, like guitar riff. It's almost black metal with how they're playing it, and it's just fucking awesome. And they keep that up for an entire record. They pretty much don't let their foot off the gas this entire album.
No, it is all gas, no brakes. All gas, no brakes.
All gas, no brakes, onward to glory.
Straight up, man. Anything else you want to add to that, or do you feel like you've said your piece?
No, I mean, I'll let Imperative speak more on it because he's more familiar with them than I am. But man, it was like this is a good album. Like I like it a little bit less than their first record, but like I said, they're neck and neck. And I could be argued either way.
Okay, hey, fair. All right, Imperitus. I'm assuming this must be your number 1.
Yes, it is. It's got my 2 all-time favorite tracks, one of which Pope just mentioned, Pyroclastic Annihilation. That song is just fucking brutal.
Oh, it's just fucking insane, fast, aggressive, just dark.
And the title track is amazing too.
Agreed.
Epidemic of Violence is. Yeah, I agree with what Pope was saying. I don't know how much black metal was in their playlists as far as what they were listening to, but you can hear a little bit of a black metal influence in there. Not a massive one by any stretch of the imagination,
but it's there.
Yeah. It's just they also, in my opinion, too, leaned a little bit more towards the death metal side of things. Because the aggression is hard to imagine that it's even more so than what the first album was. They
Mhm,
managed to
mhm.
up the aggression and just some of the lyrics, like again, using pyroclastic annihilation. It's pretty much a volcano eruption.
Yeah,
That's
exactly
all the
what it is.
song's about, but they turned it into this savage song, savage track of just unrelenting metal.
Mhm, mhm.
And it also nicely shows that hey, even metalhead can use big fancy words.
Oh, ain't that the truth? I mean, Carcass was doing it with their
Hmm.
symphonies of sickness, Putrefaction, and then you had these guys with the album titles and this one. There's so not the album titles, song titles, and boy, do they have choices of words with a lot of these carnivorous obsession, pyroclastic annihilation, human dissection. There's just all these
Oh yeah.
badass roll off the tongue song titles. Just like, wow, I love this. I love this so much. Go ahead, close off Imperitus, and then I'll put
But
in my
yeah, I
thing.
mean, it's similar to what Pope said. It's really a big toss up between those first two albums, and they'll float back and forth on the ranking depending on my mood and depending on the day. But
Mhm.
if you want to check out a good Demo Hammer album, I would dive right into this one. Great album art.
I can't disagree.
You know,
The
it's
album cover is amazing. I mean, it's one
every
of those
track is
iconic
you'll find
covers.
something in every track that'll just grab you by the back of the neck and hold you there and go, listen to this.
Hmm. Agreed. Strong. There's nothing I've heard that I would disagree with between the both of you. So, for me, number one, obviously, grass is green, snow is white. This album's not only my favorite Demolition Hammer, but it's also one of my favorite albums of all time. Period. I remember the time I discovered this. It was 2008 is when I discovered this.
Wow.
I was into a band at the time called Warbringer, and they had
Yep.
put up their first
Yeah.
album. And I
That first Warbringer
remember
album is so good.
some people mentioned, oh, I can see that there's some Demolition Hammer influence, and the singer at the time was not denying that. It seemed like he was definitely kind of like, if anything, leaning towards that as far as like acknowledging that according to fans. And it kind of got me, I should check out that band. And I remember I first heard Skull Thrasher Nightmare, the opening track from this album, and I was just kind of like floored because at this point in time, I was discovering Morbid Saint. I was discovering Dark Angel. I was discovering Sadist. And then along comes Demolition Hammer. I'm like, what the fuck is going on here? It
Yep.
just and that vocal style, like holy crap. When I first heard Steve Reynolds' scream, sacrifice, I was like, holy shit, this is nuts. I was huge on this album. I was obsessed with it. Like it was insane. It was absolutely insane. And considering I was living where I was living at the time, there wasn't many kids who were really into thrash above, let's just say, the Slayer level.
Yeah.
Like it's so then when I went to see in 2010, I went to go see the Black Dahlia Murder and Goat together at a show at this vein called the House Cafe. I saw a dude wearing a Demolition Hammer shirt. I'm like, yo, dude, Demolition Hammer, man, what's up? And that guy was like totally like happy, saw it acknowledged Demolition Hammer. And
Well,
that guy
what,
happens to be in a great Chicago death metal band called Nucleus as well, Mr. Dano, if you're ever out there hitting this video. And this is his favorite band. So I immediately was like, I got to strike up a
I
conversation
mean,
with
you and me
that guy.
started our friendship over metal, but when I mentioned Demolition Hammer, we were both like, yep.
Yeah, Demolition Hammer is one of those friend making bands.
Yeah,
Well, well,
I made two friends quite literally. That guy Dan and you and Pierce because of it. So I'm really happy that
and
I
then you
got
both
that.
bullied me into listening to them, and I fucking
yeah.
love them too.
You were next. You were next. So continue it onwards. I listened to this album relentlessly, religiously. Just I remember from Envenomed. Oh man. And then of course you got the title track Epidemic and the closer, Aborticide. That is how you freaking close an album. You want to me,
Foresight are
I
fucking
judge
masterpiece.
to me, it's very important when a good album, has a strong closer because I think you have that lasting impression, and that's very vital. And Demolition Hammer absolutely nailed it out of the park with this one.
Well,
And
the
I've
funny.
seen,
Oh,
I've seen,
go.
and I've seen this band 1, 2, 3, 4 times, and it's usually either half and half Epidemic and the other half Tortured, or slightly more Epidemic and slightly less Tortured. And I hope one day, because I know they did a show in 2017, I hope one day I can catch them where they do front to back. I know they've done it once before, so I would love to see it in its entirety, because every song on here I truly love, and I don't think there's a okay song on this album. Every song is freaking awesome. And it's just one of those things where I can't just listen to the singles. I have to listen to this entire body of work front to back. When I first got my vinyl of this, it was really exciting. I got it from this guy, Metal Mark from Metal Haven. He's like one of the metal vendors to buy from in the area. And it was like, holy crap, this is real. And that artwork just blew my mind to see.
Fantastic artwork.
Oh, I love that piece. I was just like, this is an incredible piece right here. Just look at this cover. And I'm so happy. It's kind of like I think it's from Michael Whelan. He did the cover. I love it. It's something that's just, that imagery is just iconic in my head. Everything about it it represents everything I love about when thrash metal took that extra oomph. Whether these guys are trying to do it with Epidemic or Dark Angel with Darkness Descends. When I think about thrash metal to the extra degree, this is the first thing that comes to mind. So obviously, number one. What a shock.
God damn it, I think you guys maybe change my answer in the middle of the fucking stream. It's like, because like now that you say it like this, I mean, like I said, they were always neck and neck, and you know what? I think you guys might have just argued this into being my number one as well.
And the funny thing about you bringing up Warbringer like that, Nick, I had seen them. They were touring either for the first or second album. I think the first. And I'm talking to the guys, and I mentioned the fact that I was like, yeah, I hear a bit of Demolition Hammer in there. And their one guitarist, the smile on his face as soon as I said that, he's like, nice, you know who they are. I'm like, oh, yeah, I do. Hell yeah. He's like, favorite track. And I said, Pyre Classic Annihilation. He's like, yeah. He's like, you know your shit.
Yeah. So, anyways, that is our ranking for Demolition Hammer's 3 albums. And you fine lads based out of the Bronx, I want this next album to be good. Please, please, please. I liked what I heard at Milwaukee Metal Fest. Please deliver so us 3 gentlemen can review it, because we will when it comes out. I'll even do a song reaction to the first single. I'm really that antsy for it to come out. So I don't know if it's supposed to come out this year. All I know is whenever it does, I'll be ready, because I could use some great death thrash again.
We need more Demo Hammer.
I agree. Yeah. I have seen them, Milwaukee Metal Fest. I've seen them at Maryland Death Fest. I've seen them in Chicago at Reggie's. I'm really lucky I've had these opportunities to see these guys as much as I have. What's one more? I'm so okay. Maryland Death Fest, Hell's Heroes, and Milwaukee Metal Fest, and Reggie's. I've seen them at all 4, and I feel proud of that. But anyways, to the listeners, the viewers out there, for some weird psychotic reason, do you disagree with our album rankings? If you don't, hey, we can't all be perfect, but you're welcome to chime in your thoughts and tell us why we're wrong anyways. But I'm sticking to my guns on my rankings, and I don't think Pope or Imperitus are going to be shying away from their album rankings as well.
If you like Timebomb, get help.
I agree. He's right. Don't question him on that. Get help and come back when you've been corrected, and you can give us a better ranking, new and improved. And we thank you all for watching this video. And you lay down your souls to God's rock and roll.
You have the biggest dick I've ever seen on a man.